Christian here with Innovative-IDM. Most of you already know who I am, but for those of you who don't, I am your regional sales engineer for Eastern Oklahoma and Northwest Arkansas. I'd like to give you guys a quick update on where we stand as a company during the pandemic. And I'd like to finish off the video with a cool little tech demo that I've got for you guys here today. The pandemic has changed a lot of the ways that we've worked, both on the distribution and integration side and on your guys' side as well, as the people building the machines and keeping the machines up and running. Because of the types of people that we support that are critical infrastructure, we ourselves are also critical infrastructure. So as long as you guys are still up and running, we're still here to support you. Most of you know what that support looks like already. For those of you who aren't as familiar or maybe don't remember all the things we do, the first thing is distribution. We carry a lot of high quality lines like Yaskawa, Omron, Wago, SMC, to name a few. We're still up and running. We're still shipping those. All of our vendors are critical infrastructure in a similar situation as us because they support people like you that are critical infrastructure. So we haven't seen a lot of disruptions on that end as far as being able to get you guys your parts as we would in any normal situation. Second thing that we do is board repair. So whether that be PLCs, HMIs that you have in or around a machine, drives, if those types of things break, go down, and you need that thing repaired, we have a board repair team that's still operational. And we can quote those repairs to you usually within 24 hours and then get that repaired and sent back to you usually within a week. We do have options for expedited service as well. So something to keep in mind during this time. Many people will be looking to repair versus buy new. So we can be a source for you guys to do that type of service. 24-hour field service. Most of our customer service group and a lot of our engineering is working from home now. But our field service team is still available for emergency service. You have a machine down, you have tuning issues with drives, maybe you need something reprogrammed on your PLC. We're still available for you 24 hours a day, 365. So don't be afraid to give us a shout if you have some sort of issue like that needs resolved. We're still doing our panel builds and manifold builds out of our panel shop, still fully operational. So if you're looking for a panel build, we're here for you. We can build to print, maybe just have conceptually what you want done. Get with us and we can help you get that panel built. Finally, systems integration. We're still integrating all over the United States right now. So whether that be something as simple as you need a new drive package, DC-DC retrofit, DC to AC retrofit rather, on your machine, or you're ready to make the jump to robotics. You need the robot, you need the hard card, you need the safety, you need it programmed, and you need it all in one package. We're still doing that. So still keep us in mind for any of those types of projects that you've got ongoing and you're ready to pull the trigger on. We're still here. So with that being said, the tech demo that I wanted to show you guys today, what I've got here for you is SMC's new line of air prep. This is called their AC Series. This is their modular series of FRLs. And for those of you that are more astute, you might have noticed that there's no L. The lubricator on the system is missing. We'll talk about that at the end. So just to jump into it real quick, the first thing that you'll see here, the thing that jumps out to most people is this 3-port pressure release valve right here. So to be OSHA compliant with your pneumatic system, you have to have a way to de-energize the line in order to do work on your machine, in order to do preventative maintenance. This is one way that you can achieve that. A lot of places you see they have things like ball valves somewhere on their airline, and that's usually how they depressurize the line. It works in most cases, right? Some problems with that are, one, it's not always obvious which direction is on or off. It's not always possible to lock out and tag out on those ball valves. So this is one way to alleviate that. It's right on your air prep system. So air prep is generally right next to the source. So you can quickly and easily get to it if there's an emergency. You can de-energize the line quickly, dump all the air that's supplying your system, and you can quickly identify whether it is supplying or exhausting. So there you can see it's an exhaust, so all the supply air is coming in and being dumped out the bottom. Some of these can come with mufflers attached, because those of you who know, it's pretty loud, right? So, and then here you can quickly identify it's in supply mode. So even your brand new maintenance guys who are just walking by, they can quickly identify what's going on with this. And then one thing you can see also, you've got two different rings there, here and here, to be able to perform your lockout tagout procedures. So when you are doing maintenance on that line, or you got a guy that's got an arm in the machine, you can lock out here and make sure that he's safe, okay? Or maybe a team of you got 2 points to lock out. So want to keep you guys safe out there, so we have that option available for you. Next, we've got the filter regulator combo. So the filter, first of all, right, SMC's filters start off standard at 5 micron. Most pneumatics companies start at 10 or 20. So they offer right out the gate higher level of filtration, keep your lines cleaner, more free of particulates than the other guys. We've got a embedded gauge here so that you guys can read how much pressure is running through your line at that time. To adjust that level of regulation is pretty easy. You pop that guy up and then you can twist clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust that level to where you want. Then you clip it back down and you're good to go. What we hear from some people is that this type of adjustment of the regulation level is not something that they feel comfortable with. Maybe they've had issues where people come by and try to speed up the line, so they'll adjust it and turn the regulation so that there's much more air going through the lines, going through a much higher rate, and it can be a situation where it's not safe. You know, there's a couple of different issues that could lead to that. We'd like to talk to you guys if that's an issue that you're having, but if you are seeing that as a problem, or you don't feel comfortable having this thing be so easily adjustable, we do come with a couple options where we can have locks that can install on this, so that only you who has the keys, or a couple guys on your team who have keys, can come and unlock it. We can do factory presets, so if you know that, hey, this machine's always running at 75 psi, it's always going to run at 75 psi, that's all we want it at, totally fine. We can factory preset it to that, so it takes out any type of adjustment. You don't need to adjust it ever. And finally, we can have set screws installed in it. So, a special tool that only maybe you have access to can be used to adjust that regulation. Okay. Finally, we have the mist separator here. So the mist separator is going to help you get rid of some of those fine oil particulates that might be in your line. Maybe you've got an old pump system, or you've got a little bit of a dirtier line. This can help you keep that cleaned up, help protect your pneumatic actuators downstream, your cylinders, your valves. This is one way that you can help protect those. So you might have noticed, if you can see pretty clearly, that both the filter regulator and the mist separator have a double wall. A couple good benefits to this. If you've ever seen some older pneumatics, or even the older SMC lines, a lot of times they would have a metal casing around them and a small slit or a sight glass or something that you could see through. And that was the only way you could really monitor, things like fluid level, coloration, particulates. And a drawback to this was that pressure bowl was directly exposed to the environment. Well, with this type of setup, not only can you see all the way around, so you don't need to just peer through that little sight glass, it also protects it 360 degrees. There's no part of that pressurized inner bowl that's exposed to the elements like there was in the previous setup and on other models from other SMC or other pneumatics manufacturers. So what this is going to do is offer you that extra layer of protection. so it gets dinged, or something maybe caustic gets on it, something like that. It's going to affect the outer bowl, maybe, right? But it's something that you can see, you can identify it before it becomes a problem, compared to the other case where if you had that metal bowl encasing it and the slit to see through where that pressurized bowl was directly exposed, something hits that, it's immediately affecting the integrity of the pressurized bowl. So you could be prone to leaks, bursts, things that aren't good for your system. So this is one way that SMC has designed their system to try to alleviate some of those issues. As far as maintenance goes, it's really easy to remove these guys, and change out your filters is just as easy as that. They come right off. You can install your new one and snap that right back on, and you're ready to go. So it's a lot of good benefits to the system, right? Easy to identify if something is wrong and make a change, replace the pressure bowl if you see something like a scratch or a crack because something hit it maybe. Easy to pop it off and install a new one. Easy to exchange the filter elements. Okay, I mentioned that the filter regulator starts at 5 micron. The mist separator starts at 0.3 micron. Okay, so with a system like this, you're going to have a very, very high level of filtration with a comparable cost to some of SMC's competitors that start at a much lower level of filtration. The final thing that I wanted to talk about are these little black cylinders down here. Most of you probably saw that when I was explaining the double layer bowl. What these are, they're auto drains. What this means for you is that you're not going to have to spend any type of maintenance time monitoring fluid level within your FRL. You're not going to have to worry about, oh, is it getting too high? I need to go drain it. What this is the auto drain. It operates similarly to the float in the back of your toilet. So the level gets too high, it's going to lift that float, and a vacuum is generated and it dumps that out through your drain valve. Okay, so it alleviates some of those issues where you're having to check this regularly, and you might be missing time on some other things that might be more important to you. This is one way to get around that. For those of you who might be thinking, well, okay, what if it gets higher than what I feel comfortable with? Totally fine. They have these screw release valves right here, and you can just unscrew these and it will drain for you. And then you can just pop these right back up when you're done. Okay. And the final thing I wanted to mention is these T brackets right here, these modular T brackets. So that's what's holding this whole assembly together. The whole AC series line is compatible with these T brackets, and they have valve seals on that actually make this a complete seal right here. This is something that is very easy to install. It has a screw right here that you can tighten and untighten with an Allen key. Maybe you decide you want to add another element to this system. You can just unscrew it. Maybe you take the mist separator out and you want to add something else in there. Maybe some sort of valve or regulation unit, another regulation unit. You can do that. Pretty easy to use. They have mounting brackets on the back end so that you can screw these into a wall, a panel, somewhere on your machine. So that's a little bit about this AC series. One last thing. So I mentioned at the beginning that the system was missing the lubricator portion of it. The reason for that is not because they don't make lubricators. They do. Even with this new system, SMC still makes lubricators. SMC, however, components are lube for life. What that means is that if you have a new system, new tubing, new fittings, new valves, air prep, pneumatics, right, they have never been exposed to lubricant before. If these are all SMC components, you don't need to waste money on a lubricator. You don't need to waste maintenance time on checking that lubrication, refilling the lubrication, changing the lubrication. They're lube for life. So something to keep in mind if you're looking at a new system. One reason that it might make sense to switch to SMC is the fact that you're not going to spend as much money on components. You're going to get higher levels of filtration than with other manufacturers, other brands, and that we carry it here in Tulsa. We carry it in Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Memphis. So if you have sites in those locations, or even maybe you just have a site here, just know that we can pull stock from any of those locations, maybe if we don't have it here in Tulsa. So thank you guys for giving me a few minutes of your time. Stay safe out there. You guys have my contact information. Feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. I hope to do at least one of these tech demos a week, so we won't need to be giving you company updates all the time. So the videos will be significantly shorter, but thinking this next week we might do something on vision. So feel free to reach out if you guys have any ideas of things that you've been interested in or things that you'd like to see, and we can incorporate those into the video demonstrations, or we can talk privately about those things and you guys can get a one-on-one demonstration. So thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it, and have a good one.